No, IVF is not your only option. The complete guide to successfully heal your fallopian tubes, the Fallopian Tube Formula. Written by Jody Shabazz. Audio by Jody Shabazz. Dedication. I am dedicating this book to quite a few people, as they've all played a major role in my life and in my sanity and courage to continue on in this infertility journey for the past 15 years. They were all put into my life at just the right time and served just the right purpose, with just the right amount of love, and I'm so very grateful for all of them. First and foremost, I would like to thank my Creator, the Almighty, for if it weren't for His gift in disguise, this trial of infertility, I would have never discovered this tremendous blessing, my path, my journey in life to become a naturopathic practitioner. I am forever grateful for this trial of infertility, which lasted most of my adult life thus far. It set me up for the abundant blessing and joy of spending the rest of my life practicing the art of healing other women just like myself who have suffered from infertility and up to this point assumed that IVF was their only option. I honestly believe this path was destined for me to bring this extraordinary, revolutionary message to the world. Yes, there are other options. You do have the power to heal yourself. The doctors are not God, after all. Our God is limitless, and when He sends down an ailment, He also sends down its cure. Secondly, I would like to thank my dear husband, the love of my life, Abdul M. Shabazz, for his continuous support, knowledge, and guidance on this journey and in our life as a whole. He has been the greatest ally and best friend and has given me tough love when I doubted myself or had those lazy days. He was there to tell me to put my big girl panties on and do what I was meant to do. He believed in me even before I did. He never let me quit, and for this I will forever be grateful. I also thank my beautiful mother, Beverly Markwell, for always having my back and being my best cheerleader. She raised me with such grace as a single mother and made it look easy. She provided me with values and life principles that are not come by so easily in today's world. I could never adequately express the unconditional love I continue to receive from her. I feel so honored and blessed to call her my mother. Gratitude. Thirdly, I thank my wonderful friends who have stood the test of time. I'm not a perfect person, and yet they love me anyway. They have given me their honest feedback and criticism when needed with sturdy support. It's the 3 F's that are important in life: faith, family, and friends. And my caliber of friends stands right alongside my family. I love them all like sisters, not just friends. A few of them I've listed here in no particular order: Saida Brown, Aisha Hussein, Elizabeth Burton, Jamie Vo, Tanisha Acevedo, Tina Marie Kasayan, and Veronica Americano. And last but surely not least is you. You fearless, courageous woman. You have chosen to take your health and fertility into your own hands, hoping to prove your doctor wrong, heal yourself, and conceive naturally. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for just being you. Together, you and I and all of the other courageous women walking this path are changing the world, blazing trials for those women who walk behind us. Table of Contents. How to use this book. Introduction. My story. Fallopian tubes 101. What causes blocked fallopian tubes? Quick lesson on scar tissue. Why surgery is not recommended. Your body can heal itself. How long it can take to heal yourself. The science of natural healing and what to expect. Now let's get pregnant, the fallopian tube formula. Get your mind right and the baby will follow. The keys to healing your fallopian tubes: a healthy diet, intermittent fasting, supplements, and more, bringing it all together. 2 phases of the fallopian tube formula. Fallopian tube formula success tips, shopping list, risk of ectopic pregnancy, IVF as a last resort, not your only option, FAQs, success stories, and thank you. How to use this book. This book is based on 15 years of my intense, extensive research and formal education, as well as a ton of trial and error and anecdotal evidence. Please don't be tempted to skip around. You will see the important reason for this later in the book. The fallopian tube formula is a comprehensive plan that is designed to help you achieve your complete healing in the least amount of time possible. For this reason, I will not be sugarcoating anything or pacifying you. There will be some tough love, but just know that it is all love. I'm telling you what I wish someone would have told me all those years ago. Think of me as your big sister telling you like it is, all because I love you and I only want the best for you. Introduction. So let's just jump right into this, shall we? Before we get started, I would first like to take a moment to mention that you are not alone. We fallopian tube girls make up a whopping 40% of all infertility cases, and there are many reasons and causes for fallopian tube blockage. Let's make something very clear. You are not damaged. You are not less of a woman. Today, you are right where you are meant to be. You are reading this book for a reason. You are walking this path for a reason. You have researched, and now you are responsible and brave enough to walk in your truth and find your way to your dreams of motherhood. But the great thing is, I have done all of the painstaking years of research and schooling for you. I welcome you to use me. Use my experience, my trial and error. Use this book. Read it cover to cover and know that I'm here with you, holding your hands. I know it's scary and at times it can be heartbreaking and daunting, but now turn that into courage and hope. Knowledge is the key, and the key to realizing your dreams of motherhood is in your hands. So let's get started. As I said, I know your pain all too well, and that's why I wrote this book. I wanted you to know that you do have some choice in this. You do have options. I will share with you all I know and have learned after way too many years of having blocked fallopian tubes. And I will share with you exactly how I was able to heal and open my own tubes naturally, despite the cold, callous, negative attitude of my former fertility doctor. But I don't blame the doctors. Most of the time, they simply don't know. However, their bedside manner and areas of ignorance could improve. I'm just saying, but that's a book all on its own. So, without further delay, allow me to begin by telling you a little bit about myself and my journey. My story. I cannot remember a time in my life when I didn't yearn to be a mother. Even as a little girl, I felt it was something that was just going to happen one day. It would happen when I was married and ready, and it would be natural and beautiful. Well, after marriage and trying to conceive for a little over a year and having many family members and friends tease me about when I was going to get pregnant, I decided it was time to seek some professional help. I told my mom, "I think I'm fine, Mom. I have my period like clockwork every month, no cramps, no excessive bleeding or anything. It must be something small. I'm sure they'll just give me a prescription for some fertility pills and I'll be on my way and have this baby in no time." Little did I know. So I looked up some fertility clinics and settled on one nearby. I called them and made the appointment for the initial consultation. So then I waited for the day when I could finally go and start these medications and get my baby. The day came. It was a chilly afternoon in New Jersey. Dreary, gloomy, light rain. I should have known. So I go into the place hopeful and ready to get these tests done and get my medicine already. I couldn't wait to be a mother. Today was the first day of that journey. Today I would be getting my first HSG test to check my fallopian tubes. Of course they would be okay, right? As I laid on a cold metal x-ray table, the doctor takes a tube-like instrument and inserts it into my vagina and says, "This might hurt just a little." It did hurt a little, but I have a high tolerance for physical pain. Emotional and mental pain, well, that's another story. So here he is in my vagina, and he says he's going to shoot some dye in there, and then we'll take some x-rays and see how everything looks. Okay, sounds awesome. As he is taking x-rays, he looks at the screen as if something is not all the way right. I think to myself, maybe this is just his serious doctor face. Oh, how young and naive I was. So he tells me to get dressed, and he will talk to me in the planning room. I anxiously wait for him there for what felt like 5 years, but it was probably only about 5 minutes. Finally, he brings in my x-rays and tells me, "Jody, there's an issue with your fallopian tubes. Do you see what look like sausages here?" I say, "Yes, that's normal, right?" I had never seen fallopian tubes. He said, "No, Jody, it's definitely not normal. Your tubes are blocked with what's called hydrosalpinx. It's scar tissue and fluid that has built up from the blockage." So in that brief moment, I was thinking, okay, so I won't need any medicine, maybe just a quick procedure to fix the tubes. His next statement rocked me to my core, and I will never forget it. He said, "Your only option is IVF." It was this point that I felt like I had just lost control, and I knew very little of IVF, but I knew that it was extremely expensive. This is where I started to freak out. I said, "Okay, and how much is IVF?" He says, "Oh, it's about 15,000. Huh? Did he just tell me that I have to sell my arms and legs and an ear to have a baby?" I guess the tears in my eyes didn't deter him from saying the next line. "And there's no guarantee of success. There's a 29% success rate depending on age and some other factors." Oh, great. So I'll have no legs, no arms, and short an ear, and still possibly no baby? Then he says, "Oh, and if we do proceed with IVF, we will first need to cut out your tubes because this type of blockage with fluid in the tubes can often cause a miscarriage with IVF." I was numb. I left in a trance. I can't remember what happened from the time I left the office till I was sitting on the city bus, soaking wet, my tears blending in with the raindrops on my face. I cried the whole way home. My heart was utterly destroyed, broken beyond measure. I felt like my child had just died. And I intend no disrespect to those who have lost a child, and I pray that I never have to feel that kind of pain. But it's the only way I can clearly describe the loss I felt in my core. There have been numerous clinical studies that have proven that an infertility diagnosis is just as psychologically devastating as a cancer diagnosis. But infertility is not a medical problem, according to most insurance companies. Well, I beg to differ. It's something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Reproducing is at the very core of our existence. The anguish of this trial of infertility is unspeakable. Finally, I reached my stop, walked to my house, and opened the door. In tears, I told my former husband what they said. He was numb. He didn't know how to console me. We couldn't afford IVF. Our insurance didn't cover it. I couldn't conceive. Yes, I felt less of a woman. I felt broken. But of course, I was wrong. I was not broken, and I was definitely not less of a woman. In fact, this ordeal actually made me the woman I am today. After my 2-day meltdown, I pulled myself together and said to myself, there has to be some other way. I sat down at my computer and typed, healing blocked fallopian tubes. Not much came up. This was over a decade ago, so there was hardly anything out there. Then I typed, healing scar tissue. Still, not a lot came up. And the reason for that is because Western medicine believes there is no cure for scar tissue. Attempting to have it removed surgically often does nothing but cause more scar tissue. It's a double-edged sword. Fast forward now through a ton of natural remedies I tried, from homeopathy to a Bushman's fertility tea from the Caribbean that tasted just like dirt water in a bottle, to herbs and vitamins, to castor oil packs, to expensive fertility massage that didn't work, by the way, to finally my beloved serapeptase. I found serapeptase many years ago on the basis that it heals scar tissue, so it made sense that it would treat the scar tissue in my fallopian tubes. But I only used it for about 2 months before I moved on to the next shiny object promising my dreams of motherhood. I believe I simply didn't give it enough time to work, being that I was the only guinea pig using it for blocked fallopian tubes back then. Nowadays, there are tons of testimonials of serapeptase, and it's quite easy to see how effective it is. You will read an entire section on this miraculous enzyme a little bit later. Everything in life, I believe, is by no accident. Our God is not mean and cruel. He puts us on specific paths for us to become what we were intended to be. This journey I was on for over 15 years led me to my love of natural medicine, i.e., giving the body the tools it needs to be able to heal itself. So, while I didn't choose this journey chose me. And I'm actually incredibly grateful for that, because now here I am, all these years later, a naturopathic practitioner, trying to help anyone who will listen to me to realize their dreams of motherhood. The fallopian tubes have become my specialty. I made it my mission to know all things fallopian, and I'm so very honored and blessed to be on this journey with you. I thank you for allowing me to help you. I don't find joy in selling books. Sure, it helps pay my bills and keeps the lights on. But I find joy in giving women my hard-earned wisdom and knowledge so they can heal themselves and finally have the freedom from the shackles of fertility doctors who only push IVF because it is the tool that nicely lines their pockets. Again, they are not completely to blame. However, when a woman tells her doctor that she has unblocked her tubes using natural remedies and the answer she gets is, it must have been a spasm in the last test and not a blockage, when it was clearly a blockage, Houston, we have a problem. These are the doctors that can no longer claim ignorance, but only arrogance. But that right there, my dear, is a whole other book. Oh, and by the way, I wrote this book in faith. What does that mean exactly? Well, I am walking in faith, writing this book with complete conviction that my tubes are no longer blocked. I am writing this book claiming that they are healthy and open now. Is that crazy or what? It's not so crazy, and I'll get more into that a little later. I have a follow-up HSG coming up here soon, so I will get back to you beautiful ladies on that awesome update a bit later in the book. Special surprise coming up in later chapter. Wink, wink. Okay, so let's get to it. On to the science. Mad science. Enter mad scientist laugh. Okay, I know I'm a little corny. I just hope you can have a bit of fun reading this while you learn a thing or two. Let's go.